My name is Katie Farner, and I am the proud director of the Sunshine State Superstars. We have a few of them in the room. So I am so honored to be here and share with you on fundraising, which is really shocking because for a long time fundraisers were not at all part of my business. But before I get into the training that I have prepared for you, I actually want to tell you my story. I think it's important. You may notice a trend in a lot of the trainings that you go to. Pretty much every consultant is going to share their story with you. And it's because our story is so important. We all have a unique story. It's where we've been and where we're going. And I want you to be able to connect with me and know a little bit more about me. And then we're going to get to know a little bit more about some of you too. So again, I'm Katie Farner. I am from Central Florida. I was born and raised in Central Florida. My husband and I have been married for 5.5 years. And when I joined Scentsy, I was actually a newlywed. We had just gotten married, and I decided to sell Scentsy only because of the fact that my consultant was moving away. She was moving out of the state, and she was no longer going to be selling Scentsy. So I was kind of faced with a predicament because it's like, oh, I love this stuff. How am I going to get more? You know, once you start, you become addicted. So I thought, okay, the easy thing to do is going to be for me to join. Then I can just purchase for myself, and that was truly where the plan ended. You know, some of you in this room might have had great starts where you took right off, and that was not my start. Anybody else can relate to that? A slow start? Yeah? Okay, cool. We're friends now. So I had a really slow start. I did not earn Shooting Star. In fact, my launch party was almost 3 months after I joined. My launch party was a huge success, though. It was surprising. It was 1,300 in PRV, which was crazy. Yeah. So I barely slid in and earned Sensational Start Level 1, and then I booked a few parties. And from there, everything kind of started growing organically. Like, who does like home parties consistently in the room? I love home parties. I'm a home party fan. So I love home parties because they breed more. They just flow one into the next. And that's what happened for me over the first year and a half of my business. In fact, throughout that first year and a half of my business, I had my first recruits. They came to me wanting to join. They were party guests or party hosts, and they loved the product. They loved the simplicity of it. They wanted to share it themselves. So they came to me wanting to join, and you'll never guess what I did. I tried talking them out of joining my team. Can you imagine trying to talk recruits out of joining? I mean, we're taking classes learning how to recruit, and I tried talking them out of joining my team. It's because I was really scared. I did not want to recruit anybody. I didn't want that kind of accountability. I didn't want to have to be a leader to people. I had some previous experience that made me really doubt my abilities to be a leader. So I tried talking them out of it. They joined anyway, surprisingly. But anyway, fast forward, like I said, to that year and a half point in my business, and that's when everything changed for me. It's when I attended my first reunion. Who's here for the very first reunion? Oh my gosh, I love it. Yes, yes, applause. So your first reunion is so special. Your first reunion is when many of us have our light bulb moment, and that's when I had mine. My light bulb moment wasn't anything huge. It was just so small. You know, I sat in these classes or I was in the general sessions, and the one thing that I saw just kind of cohesively throughout the whole week was that everybody was just normal. I kind of had this preconceived notion that to be successful in direct sales, you had to be like a ground floor consultant, or you had to have experience, or you had to have a certain set of skills. And I didn't think I had any of those things. But what these women taught me through their sharing their stories, that's why our stories are so powerful, is that they were normal, just like me. And that if they could find success in network marketing, I could as well. And that's when everything changed. I started working, went home. I went from a star consultant with a team of 3 to a director with a team of 18 in 3 months. And now look at us today. We have a team of it's like 280, and it's just everything's changed dramatically. So I want you to understand my story, where I've been, and now where I'm going. I love what I do. Every day I'm so happy. The other day I posted something on Facebook like, I just can't help but smile every day because I can't believe this is my job. And I just want to share that with as many people as possible. So that's where I'm going. That's where I'm headed. I want to bless thousands of people with that feeling. So that's me. But I want to know some stuff about you guys. I want to talk about your goals. I'm sure you've heard some great things. You've got some great ideas. So I would love for some of you to raise your hands, and I want to just hear, just brief, like if you could say like 2-3 words, what is your goal for the fall of 2015? What do you want to accomplish? Maybe you want to promote to director. Maybe you want to recruit a certain amount of people each month. Maybe you want, to have a certain amount of home parties each month. Like whatever it is. So somebody raise their hand. I want to hear from someone. Right here in front.
Star to director within 3 months.
All right, I love it.
That sounds good to me. I'm going to start with 13.
Oh, great. All right, what about you, Freddie?
I want to leave Walmart.
You want to leave Walmart. Okay, so you want to leave, is it a part-time or a full-time job?
Part-time.
Okay, cool. Somebody else, someone here, one more. Curly hair, pretty curly hair.
I want to earn the next incentive trip.
Oh, yes. I love that one. Anyone in here earn the summer incentive trip?
Woo!
Great job, that's awesome. Okay, so you've all shared some really inspiring goals, and goals are important. Goals move you forward, goals keep you focused. So what I want you to know about each of these goals is that they all have a lot of things in common, but the one thing that they have in common that I want to talk about today is that with fundraising as part of your fall, you are dramatically more likely to achieve those goals. I guarantee if everyone in this room shared their goals, I could find a way that they all would be more likely to be achieved through the use of fundraisers as part of your marketing for the fall. I think of fundraisers kind of as like the redheaded stepchild of Scentsy, well, not Scentsy, but of our businesses, I should say. I think a lot of people are afraid of them, or a lot of people see them as not something, just kind of a lot of work. I think there's a lot of negativity often around fundraisers. In fact, my point was proven today when I was talking with a consultant about what my class was, and she's like, oh, I don't think I'm going to go to that because my director told me I shouldn't do fundraisers. Yeah, I was like, what? Are you kidding? She's like, yeah, my director told me I'm too new to do fundraisers.
What?
I'm like, what? It's so important. Fundraisers are such a great part of our business, and I want to help you guys embrace them and change your whole outlook on fundraisers. That's my goal for today, so we'll see if I can do it. So I think the reason so much, I used to have negative thoughts about fundraisers too. I'll admit it. I used to think, oh, fundraisers is a lot of work. You got to put together all those packets, and you got to put all that money into it, and then you don't make your commission off of it, and it's hard to even get your foot in the door with the schools. It's like you got to know somebody. But that's because I was thinking so close-minded about fundraisers. I wasn't looking at them in a modern way, and that's what I want to encourage you all to do today. We're going to talk about innovative and modern ways to fundraise. Not the traditional old school way. We can mix it up. We can change it up. We can modernize the fundraisers. Fundraisers that are less cost for consultants. Fundraisers that are simple, truly simple, for not only the consultants, but for all the participants. We all like simple, right? That's one of our core values is simplicity, so let's make sure our fundraisers are simple. So we also can make it increase the earnings for them as well. We so often are just donating our commissions when in fact there's ways that we can end up donating more than what our commission would have been. So I'm going to talk to you today about 3 modern fundraisers, 3 fundraisers that I focus on, the ones that I apply to my business. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Scent Circle fundraiser. The second one we're going to talk about is Facebook fundraisers. And the third we're going to talk about is the pop-up fundraiser.
What?
Pop-up, like pop. So Scent Circle fundraising. Has anybody in here seen videos on YouTube about Scent Circle fundraising? Okay, cool. So a lot of you have seen it. So for those of you who, the Scent Circle fundraiser concept, the math might sound kind of confusing at first. So I want you to know that you can go to YouTube and just search Scent Circle fundraisers, and you can watch a video where I really thoroughly talk about Scent Circle fundraising and all the details of how it works. So don't feel overwhelmed if you can't get it firsthand, because it took me quite a few tries to understand how it works. That's why I made a video. I figured if I don't get it, I'm sure others don't either. So what I love about Scent Circle Fundraisers is they're simple. They're incredibly, incredibly simple, and they are very rewarding for the organization that you're working with. So for Scent Circle Fundraisers, that's truly what you're doing. You're only selling scent circles. How simple does that make it, right? I mean, then you don't have to worry about someone selling a perfect Scentsy, companion system with deluxe, and then they picked out a premium. You don't have to worry about all of those complications that can happen when you're doing a traditional fundraiser. So you're selling scent circles only in 6-packs. Does anybody know how much PRV a 6-pack of scent circles is? 15, that's right. So a 6-pack of scent circles is usually 15 in PRV US, but for fundraising purposes, we round it up to 20. $20 US is what people pay for a 6-pack of scent circles when you do a fundraiser. $20 flat. So we've got a cushion built in for the donation right there in the cost. And then that also covers sales tax as well. So you have a very simple order form, which Home Office has generously, we've worked together for them to create a Scent Circle order form for all of you to be able to use. Yes. I've got a lot of requests for that, and so I'm like, if I'm going to talk about this in my breakout, we have got to have it in the workstation. So starting tomorrow, under your resources tab, you're going to have, completely free for you to be able to use, a Scent Circle fundraising order form. Woo! And it's going to be fully able to be edited, so every season you're going to be able to make those changes that you need to make to it.
Awesome.
And typically in a Scent Circle fundraiser, we offer like 10 to 15 fragrances. You limit it, so it's not as complicated. And then it can all be on one sheet. You've got a place for their contact information, and then it's a simple check system where you just go down the line and check the 6 fragrances that they want to get. So no individual scent circles with a Scent Circle fundraiser. It's always in the 6-pack is how you're going to sell them. So once it's all said and done, you're going to be donating $7 for every 6-pack sold. Now remember, you've got $5 built into that $7 price, that $7 donation. And when you look at the math, that's actually 35% commission. When you're donating your commission, you can't come close to 35%. So it's more rewarding for the organization, which is great. When you're actually closing your fundraiser out, you're going to use retail and hostess rewards, your free product and your half-priced items, to get all the needed quantity of scent circles. Okay, so you're going to create as many parties as possible because you want the maximum amount of half-priced items to purchase the scent circles, leaving you with the donation amount to the side, leaving the very minimal amount actually coming out of your own pocket for the Scent Circle fundraisers. So it's a great, simple way to fundraise. It's simple, especially if you're working with students, or young children. It's how easy is a Scent Circle fundraiser? It's very, very simple. And then when you're bagging your orders as the consultant, how easy is that to just bag scent circles, right? It takes way less time. And because they're getting 35% commission, it's much more rewarding than traditional fundraising as well. So I love Scent Circle fundraisers. They're simple, they're easy, and they're truly very effective. So the next I want to talk about is the Facebook fundraiser. Facebook is truly the epitome of the modern fundraiser. I mean, everybody's on Facebook. So let's use that to our advantage to raise funds for important causes or for families in need. When you're creating a Facebook fundraiser, you want to create a Facebook event. And you want that Facebook event to be public. Anybody know why you want the Facebook event to be public? That's exactly right. If you create a Facebook event nowadays, they have it set up to where it automatically goes to private. So you have to make sure that you change that and you make the event public. Because if the event is not public, you will not be able to share it, and others will not be able to share it. And that is part of what's so important. Yep?
Is there a difference in creating that from a personal page versus a business page?
I honestly don't think so. But I don't actually have a business page. I do everything from my personal page. So I've only done it from a personal page, but I don't think so. Sorry, one second. Okay, so when you create your public event, you want this public event to really call people to action. So what is something that can really do that? Exactly, images. So when you create this event, you want your cover image to be compelling. You want it to call them to action, call them to support. So you can use apps like WordSwag or A Beautiful Mess. Those are two apps that I use with my iPhone to be able to take a photo showing the family or the place that we're doing the fundraiser for, to add some custom text to that, to call people to action, to call people to want to encourage.
What was that you said? Word swag and...
Yeah, word swag, like, oh, you got swag, word swag, and then the other one is called A Beautiful Mess. So those are the two apps available in your Apple, iTunes store. But WordSwag isn't free. I think it's like $3, but it's totally worth it because I use that to welcome new recruits to customize their photo and stuff. So great, great, great app. So anyway, create the public event. Use a cover photo that's compelling, calling people to action, and then ask everyone involved to share, and ask them to ask others to share. That's really the key to making your Facebook fundraiser a success. If people aren't sharing it, it's not going to be nearly as successful as it could. Because when you're doing a Facebook fundraiser, if people are sharing it, you have potential to reach hundreds and thousands of people versus, maybe 50, 60 of their immediate friends that might be seeing it on the newsfeed. So make sure that you get people sharing it. So important. And then post in the Facebook event actively. I see a lot of consultants just like create them and just let them sit there. They're not going to be called to order on their own. So post actively in the event, at least twice a day, morning and night. Post things like photos or videos of our products. We have an amazing Scentsy YouTube channel with beautiful videos that our videography team creates for us to be able to use. So use those. Use photos or videos related to the cause. Like, say for example, you're working with a local no-kill animal shelter. Post photos of pets up for adoption, or post photos of the facility. Anything that you can do to create interest in what you're trying to raise funds for. Other things I like to post are like goal amount of donation versus current donation amount, so people can see what that gap is and we can get closer to bridging the gap. Reach even more people by publicly thanking them when they place an order. So you've got to be their Facebook friend before you can do that, before you can share the event on their wall and publicly thank them. So send them a little private message and say, thanks so much for that. I wanted to give you a shout out. And so let's be friends. Get her to be your Facebook friend or him, and then share the event on their wall. That will allow their friends to see what they have recently supported, and they might be encouraged to support as well. So really, sharing is key.
On the Facebook, when you're doing a fundraiser, are you doing all the items that are in our catalog, or are you specifically just using
Yes, good question, because they're ordering online when you do a Facebook fundraiser. That's another reason why I love them, because they're so simple. Everyone's ordering online. Like 99% of your orders are going to be online. So it's going to be direct ship for everybody. So you really have very minimal work, and even better, the people who the fundraiser is benefiting have even less work. I'll give you an example of a recent one I did. So a friend of mine, a customer of mine, she's a hostess, she had a party booked with me, and she canceled her party because her best friend's husband was in a motorcycle accident, and he actually lost his leg below the knee. So they had 3 young children, and so my customer was taking care of their children, so she couldn't do her home party. When I heard the story of what happened to the husband, I obviously was moved and wanted to help. So I asked my hostess, hey, can I reach out to your friend? I'd love to offer some support. So I reached out to the friend and said, I've heard what happened. I'm so sorry. I want to help. Here's how I can help. I can create a simple Facebook fundraiser. All you have to do is just share it. Once a day, just share it, and get your friends to know that you're doing it, and they'll share it. And we were able to donate almost $400. I mean, I know it's not a lot, but it helped with his hospital bills and everything. So that's an example. Facebook fundraisers are great for people who have something going on and they really can't be involved. They really can't have much to do with the fundraiser. It's so simple. It's just online orders, easy peasy. Yep.
How long do you keep the event open for?
So it really depends. That one we had open for 3 weeks, but I wouldn't suggest doing anything longer than a month. But really, it's going to be your call based on the scenario and the situation. So like I said, publicly thank people. Share it on their walls and publicly thank them for doing it. And online orders, so they're shipping. So make sure that you're sending them something in the mail to thank them. Free scent circle, or at least a handwritten thank you note to thank them for supporting. Yes?
What are we allowed to or not allowed to title it? Do we have to put Scentsy Independent Consultant or just Fundraiser for so-and-so?
So what I typically will title them as is, you want to do something catchy, something that doesn't sound like, oh, it's a Facebook party, you know, because people are so sick of the word party. So I would do something like, okay, that guy's name was Ryan, so I called that Support Ryan. That's all I called it. I didn't even use the word Scentsy. Didn't even use it. Because I think that's going to call people to look at it even more if they don't think like a brand or anything is associated with it. So Facebook fundraisers, they're simple. They're effective, and you have the potential to reach tons and tons of people. So definitely, just remember, it's easy, it's just simple. You just reach out, offer that support. You have a question?
I just want to know, like for instance, when you're setting up the event, how are you actually getting the event to go to your reservation board?
So in your description of your event, you're going to want to have your personal website, and then throughout the time that you're doing the event, you also want to post your link to your personal website as well. So next, let's talk about the third modern fundraiser that I focus on, which I kind of made up this name, so it might be kind of silly, but I call it a pop-up fundraiser. And what that is it plays off the idea of a car wash or a bake sale. How often are you driving around town and you see like teenagers holding up signs for a car wash, and, you know, or kids out front of a grocery store with their helmets trying to raise funds? You know, you see that kind of stuff everywhere. So a pop-up fundraiser plays off that idea, but Scentsy style. So to do a pop-up fundraiser, you need a non-retail location. Non-retail, because that's key. We cannot sell our products in a retail location. So non-retail location, like a park, a school, a residence that might have a highly trafficked area. Let's see, what else did I suggest?
What about a gym?
A gym. I don't think that's considered retail.
Baseball field.
Yeah, baseball field. There's so many places. I love it. Brainstorming. We're going to do that soon. So there are so many non-retail locations that you could set up a pop-up fundraiser. So you need a place, and then you, of course, also need product to have on hand to sell. So I do it just like any other event. I set up my little display. I have my products there that I have on hand to sell, and I sell them cash and carry. What's great about a pop-up fundraiser is it's quick. This is what people go to when they need their funds very quickly. Like say maybe someone's got a mission trip they're going on, or someone's, you know, going on a recent one that I did, her daughter was going to a national wrestling conference and she needed funds and they were still kind of far from where they needed to be. So it can be done very quickly. So you just set up your booth, you sell your products, and then right then and there that day I give them their portion of, I donate my commission to them right then and there. So typically I'm handing them cash or just giving them a check for their donation. That's one of the reasons people love the pop-up fundraiser. It's very, very, very quick and simple. When you work with the organization in advance, you know, you don't need a lot of time to prepare for it, but you do want a little bit of time because you want to create flyers so they can spread the word. You want to create a Facebook event for it so they can spread the word and everybody knows what day and what time and where we're going to be at. You also want to have them create signage to hold up just like they would for a car wash to really draw attention to people who might not even know that it's going on. The pop-up fundraiser is fun, it's quick. That speed of what the pop-up fundraiser can really do for people is very, very appealing to a lot of people. Of the three modern fundraisers, the two that I have the most demand for are the pop-up and the Facebook fundraisers because of the speed and the simplicity of them. So those are my three modern fundraisers. Yes?
Are you always giving 35%?
No, the 35% is only for scent circles. For the other types of fundraisers like the pop-up, I'm donating my commission. So either 25 or 30% depending on what the sales are that month.
With the Scent Circle fundraiser, I saw it before. That was before the host rewards changed. How you would use host rewards and how much you would get.
Right.
So now that it's pushed back a little bit with like the 15, it doesn't change at all. You're still doing the $7 for the 6-pack.
That's correct. Yes, it's still going to work out the same because you're still going to be creating multiple parties. You might actually be spending, it might change how much you're actually donating personally. I haven't obviously done one yet. So, but you're still gonna run it the exact same way. You're still going to do the $7 and that's gonna stay. Yes?
Katie, would it be a good idea to maybe do one of these Scent Circle fundraisers next month when everything's 10% off? The same.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely, great idea.
Everybody's gonna book one next month?
Okay, let's do one more question, way in the back.
When you do the multiple parties, do you do your limit at 400 for the party, or
No, I typically try to stay around the 250 mark, just so I can have as many half-off items as possible. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do some more questions at the end. Now, I want you guys to break up into some small groups. Before you do your small groups, though, I want to tell you what you're going to be brainstorming. You're going to be brainstorming 2 different things, okay? So jot these down. So the first thing you're going to brainstorm is, I want you to use our amazing new catalog. It's amazing, isn't it? Yes. I want you to use our amazing new catalog to brainstorm something else similar to scent circles that you could fundraise with. Try to kind of figure out those basic logistics within your group. How much would we be donating? Would we be selling them in bundles or individually? How would we do all of that? Just kind of try to figure out those basic logistics. So that's number 1. The second thing I want you to brainstorm is, who can you share these modern fundraisers that we've talked about with? Come up with a list of as many people or places as possible that you all in your group can contact when we leave. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. Just break up into real small groups, 5, 10 people, whatever, right there in your immediate vicinity. And then we're going to share them with us. Okay. Okay, first tell us, what is Donna, is it Paradis? Paradis, okay. And where are you from?
Hobart, Indiana.
Awesome. And what's your title? Let's see.
Superstar.
Superstar, that is fabulous. How many people do you have on your team?
I have 6 right now.
Oh, that is so great. Okay, cool. So I'm going to hand you this mic, and I want you to tell us, which one are you going to tell us about? 1 or 2? Which number of the challenge are you going to tell us about?
Oh, let's go with 2.
Okay, so fill us in on what you guys brainstormed.
Okay, we brainstormed on doing the clip-on buddies. They are $15 each, which is the same price as a Scent Circle fundraiser. So you can still add the $5 onto that. And those would work great for the kids, for school. Any organization at school would be good to do these with, just like with your Scent Circles. Even church groups, you know, like your church youth groups, these would be good for.
I love that idea. That is fabulous. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. High five. That is a really great idea. I love it. Using something new. Okay, great. So who wants to come up and share just maybe come up with a list of a lot of people or places to approach?
I have a question. If you sell something for more than it retails for, do you have to get home office approval?
No, you don't. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. This in a fundraiser setting like what we're doing, this is all approved. Yes. So who wants to come up and share? Your husband was suggesting you come up. Do you have a list of a lot of places to approach?
Just because I'm involved in a lot of things.
Do you want to come up and share?
Well, no, but I have a question.
No.
Could we possibly save questions till the end? I just want to make sure we get everything in that I've got prepared. So who's going to come up and share the list? You, in the back. Okay, so we got, it's Andrea, right? Andrea, okay. And where are you from?
Welland, Ontario, Canada.
Welland, Ontario, Canada. And your title is?
Superstar.
Superstar, that's fabulous, right?
To be director this year.
Okay, so you're going to share your list of places, right?
Yep.
Do you want me to hold this for you, or do you want it? Okay.
So we had schools, dance clubs, select sports teams, baseball, hockey, basketball, childhood cancer groups, special needs, the church groups, and in Ontario we have the Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah, great.
So they do a lot of Scent Buddy fundraisers there as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for sharing. I hope you enjoyed your brainstorming. And I love the idea about the buddy clips. Who's excited about that one? Yes, great idea. Okay, let's put this back in here. Okay, all right. So we have discussed a lot of ideas here today, and I'm sure that you have come up with some other great ideas that weren't even publicly shared. So what's so important is that now that you have these ideas, you've got to ask yourself, okay, how am I going to share them? You know, while you're here at Reunion, you're going to get a lot of great ideas. Your notebook is going to be full by the time you go home. And to be honest, what's in that notebook is worthless unless you give it life, unless you put action to it. So don't let your time here, don't let your notes go to waste. Get your action plan ready. Keep a sharp eye out for leads. I always say, because I'm like totally all about recruiting, so I always say keep your recruiting goggles on. And it's the same thing with fundraising. Keep your fundraising goggles on. You've got to always be looking for people or places in need. We're always on Facebook, guys. Put that time to use. Scroll through your news feed and look for people. Is somebody posting about, oh man, my washing machine's broken, I don't know how the heck we're going to get another one? That's an excuse to offer a Scent Circle fundraiser or not a Scent Circle, a Facebook fundraiser. Look for any reason why someone needs your support and just reach out and say, hey, I saw that post on Facebook. I want to help. Like what I did with my hostess's friend who was in an accident. Whose husband was in an accident. I didn't even know her, but I still reached out. Always have your goggles on, looking for someone in help. When you're driving around town and you see people doing a car wash, or you see kids outside of a grocery store or what have you, trying to raise funds. Don't just tootle on by. Stop. Take a second. Ask them, hey, what's going on? I would love to be able to support you and help you. Here's what I can do. So always, always, always be on the lookout. Even on Facebook, maybe twice a month, I'll post something like, if you had an extra $500, what local organization would you give it to and why? This always gives tons of people. People comment on it like crazy with different places or even different families that they know of who are going through a struggle, giving you a great list of leads to approach. So definitely try posting that on Facebook a couple times a month. And with social media posting, remember guys, I hear so many times, well, I did that and it didn't work. Won't do it again. Doing it once and it didn't work doesn't mean it won't work. You've got to do these things repeatedly. It's the consistency in your actions is where things are going to pay off. I love fundraisers. I appreciate fundraisers. They give us endless opportunities because of the fact that they are broadening our contact base on a large scale. Large scale. And what is it doing? It's forming new relationships. So the relationships are really what's key for the fundraiser. Like, yeah, it's great to get that PRV, but what is really important are the relationships that you now have established because of that fundraiser. So how are you going to nurture those relationships? Because that's your long-term business right there, those relationships. Those are the people who will become future customers, continued customers, I should say. Those are the people that could become your hosts or your recruits. You never know where these contacts are going to lead you, and that is what is truly so important. So make sure that you are doing things with this contact information that you've gained. With Facebook fundraisers, everyone who supports it, everyone who orders, they should become your Facebook friend. All of them. Send them a message. Thank them for supporting this and tell them, hey, I'd really love to stay in touch with you. Let's stay in touch. They're not going to forget you. They're not going to forget what you did for their friend or their family member or the organization that they care about. You're going to be their Scentsy gal or guy. And when they participate in a pop-up fundraiser or a Scent Circle fundraiser or a Buddy Clip fundraiser, make sure that you get all their contact information. And don't be so afraid to follow up, you guys. So many people don't follow up. And it's like, what are you so afraid of? You're going to call them and they're going to say, I love it. I mean, it's Scentsy, right? They're going to love it. So why are we so afraid to call and ask, how do you like it? It's not like they're going to say this stuff is horrible. So why are we so afraid? Follow up. Every single customer that you gain from a fundraiser is going to either lead you to another spring They're either a host, a continued customer, or a potential recruit, or they're gonna lead to a dead end. You are the one who decides whether or not they're a dead end or they're a beautiful spring. So make sure that you utilize these contacts. Make sure that they're also enrolled to receive your monthly newsletter as well. So what's your action plan? What is your next step? I want you to look at your notes that you have taken today and ask yourself, okay, with everything here on my list, what is the very next thing that I am going to do when I return home to ensure that fundraisers are part of my fall? Because I promise you, if fundraisers are part of your fall, you're gonna earn that incentive trip. You're gonna get that promotion. You are much more likely to achieve your goal if fundraisers are part of your fall business plan. So keep it simple. Remember, I'm gonna leave you with this. Search for people in need. Offer your support. Make it simple. And follow up. Those are the 4 steps you need to make your fundraisers a big success. And I'm going to open things up now for you guys to ask questions.